Hi guys, my name is Shirley Cyrus, and in today's video we'll be talking about how to measure and cut a basic skirt. So if you're just coming across my video for the first time, please, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel as well. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning to my channel. So let's get right into the video. Back. So if you want to measure your basic skirt, the first thing you have to do is to fold your material into two. Can you see this paper is folded into two? And what will help you to know the amount of paper or your material to fold is to measure your hip circumference. Your hip circumference divided by 4, and you add 2-inch allowance. If you are a beginner, you add 2-inch allowance. So I folded my brown paper rather into two, and the first thing I did was to measure my starting point. Can you see? I'm using a pencil, sorry, so you need to pay keen attention to this. So you have to measure your starting point, and the measurement I'm using for this tutorial is the waist is 28, the hip is 40, and the length is 25. So the next thing you have to do, from your starting point, you measure 9. From your starting point, you measure 9. You measure 9. You measure 9 all through. 9. You measure 9. This is me measuring my 9. Then use your ruler. Sorry, my ruler is broken, and so I'm using this as my ruler. So you measure your 9 and you rule a line across it to indicate your 9. So this is my hip line. This 9 is my hip line. The 9 you measure is your hip line. So I'm going to write it here. Hip line. Hip line. So thereafter, you measure your skirt length. The skirt length I'm using for this is 25. So you put your tape rule, you measure starting from your starting point, this starting line, you measure down to your skirt length. Can you see that? And you measure all through. You measure it all through down, at least indicate 3 times, at least for a beginner, and you use your ruler to, I hope you can see, and use your ruler to indicate the lines. I'm shading it so that you can see. Sorry, my marker is nowhere to be found. So this is my starting line, this is my hip line, and this is my skirt length, the length of my skirt. So after measuring this, you go and measure the circumference of your skirt. Then I told you that we are using waist. Our measurement for our waist is 28, and we are going to divide the circumference of our waist into 4. We are going to divide it into 4. If you are finding it difficult to do your divisions when you are sewing, all you have to do is to use your tape rule. Let's take for instance, that's 28. All you have to do is to look for 28 and put it this way. 28, this is divided by 2. You take it again, divided by 4 rather. So divided by 4 gives us 7. Yeah, you can never go wrong with this method. 7. So our waist divided by 7 by 4 rather is 7. Our waist divided by 4 is 7. So this is 7. I've measured my 7 here. I've measured my 7 here. So we are going to measure our hip. Our hip is 40 divided by 4 is 10. So we are going to measure our 10 right here. 10 on our hip line. Take note, on our hip line. Then this is 10, right? Then you come down to your skirt length and measure and minus 1 inch from your hip measurement. Our hip measurement is 10, so you are going to minus 1 inch from your hip measurement, which is 9, and we are going to put it down here at our skirt length. Do you get that? So after that, you're going to come back to your waist measurement. For beginners, you're going to add your dart allowance to your waist measurement. Your dart allowance is 1 inch. You're going to add that to your waist measurement. 1 inch for your dart allowance. So to measure your dart, you go to your unfold. This is the unfold. This is the unfold. You come to your unfold and put your tape rule on your waistline and measure 3.5, 3.5, and 4, and measure 3.5. Your 3.5. Then from your 3.5, you measure the 1 inch. Yeah. So can you see? Then you come down by 4 inches from your waistline. You come down by 4 inch from your waistline, and you measure that same 3.5 on that line, 3.5, and you measure your 1 inch from there. Then you use your ruler to indicate that this is your 1 inch. Do you get your 1 inch? And yeah, so this is your dart. I hope you can see. This is your dart measurement, and all you have to do is to all the lines. You have to connect all the lines. You connect them this way. You connect it this way, and you connect it this way. Can you see? So we are done, but we are going to add your allowance. For beginners, it is wise that you add 2 inch allowance for beginners, so that you be on the safer side. But if you're not a beginner, you can add 1 inch or 1.5. So let's add 1.5 for now. 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. 1.5 inch for sewing allowance, straight right down to the skirt length. 1.5. And so you connect the lines, the dots, connect it, and you also connect it. Because I'm not using my French curve, I'm going to use my pencil to shape this curve I'm having here. Going to shape it so that it will not have this edge, this sharp edge right here. So this is our skirt, and we'll go ahead to cut. We'll go ahead to cut, and we'll cut. Yeah, and don't forget that whenever you are making your skirt, you are supposed to also put 1 inch. I almost forgot. 1 inch allowance for turning of your skirt. So you're going to put 1 inch allowance at in that part of your skirt, 1 inch allowance at the length of your skirt, 1 inch allowance, 1 inch allowance, then you connect the dots. 1 inch allowance. Good. So you cut, and don't forget to give this video a like and also turn on your notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I drop a video.